So how has the idea of microtrends affected social media, audiences, and brands? What is a microtrend? Well, a microtrend is defined as a niche or industry-specific consumer behavioral trend, which is mass market ready and actionable. With a shorter lifespan, microtrends usually filter down from macro trends and provide opportunities for innovators, designers, and marketers to tap into these emerging consumer mindsets. And, well, what does this have to do with social media? So I'll be splitting social media users into 3 types. The audience, so consumers like you or me. Big brands, so clothing brands. And 3 small brands, aka individual brands, like influencers. And recently there's been a lot of discussion about microtrends encouraging overconsumption. And what is overconsumption? Well, putting it simply, it's consuming more than necessary. And it's also wasteful because it means throwing everything away once a trend is no longer trending. And how do microtrends and overconsumption go hand in hand? Overconsumption is encouraged through microtrends because microtrends are not only micro in the sense that a smaller group of consumers follow them, but in also its lifespan. While trends can last up to years, microtrends usually only last up to a month, a few months, or a couple of weeks. For example, Labubus. Just a few months ago we had people lining up outside of Pop Marts trying to get their hands on a Labubu because it was the latest collector trend. And now, well, nobody really cares anymore. I even had the misfortune of seeing these things in stock at a store because nobody really wants them anymore. Waste from overconsumption doesn't only come from, well, buying new things and then throwing away the old things that are still perfectly usable. It also comes from the CO2 emissions and packaging waste. But who's shilling this wasteful behavior? Well, individual brands, influencers. It's not incidental that every single influencer has suddenly began speaking to you like you're their little sibling, having that run, don't walk to the latest new thing. It's also no coincidence that they're being sponsored by the same brand that they're claiming will make you look like a new wax sculpture. It kind of creates a parasocial relationship, and it makes you think that you want this new product because your online big sister told you that you need it. And have you heard of the hypodermic syringe needle theory? Well, it's the belief that media injected its content into the audience's lives directly, subsequently influencing their behavior. The theory views the audience as passive, homogeneous, and impressionable, which basically means media inserts beliefs directly into the audience's mind. Have you seen the Pretty Little Thing rebrand? On November 5th, 2024, Donald Trump was elected as president. And then, 5 months later, on March 3rd, 2025, Pretty Little Thing rebranded. They rebranded from Party Girl to A Legacy in Progress? From their initial aesthetic to the chic, elegant style, it's clear that they're rebranding to a more conservative style because of the new presidential era in, America. This is less than a subtle rebrand. It's subliminal messaging. And while you can argue with me and say that it's not, that they just wanted a new style, it's clear that their new demographic is women who are trying to be like trad life influencers. For example, Nara Smith. But microtrends don't have to be bad. Microtrends can also lead to indie gems being discovered. This particularly happens in the gaming industry though. One example I can think of straight away is Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, the game franchise which should have ended years ago was once a microtrend? Well, unlike today, mascot horror was almost unheard of and Scott Cawthon was an innovator of his time. He certainly did a lot for the genre, and now it's evolved into the opposite of a microtrend. So, how does this all answer my question? Well, microtrends have been a pretty powerful tool for brands when it comes to advertising. By manufacturing their own trends, microtrends, it encourages people to buy new products at mass amounts. However, the consequence is overconsumption, leading to a fast decline and high waste when the brand and consumers are on to the very next thing. And we can see this ourselves when the trend is over and shelves are suddenly stocked full of things which were once so hard to get your hands on. It's clearly affected social media by giving these brands a new powerful tool for advertisement, but also negatively affected the consumer by making them believe they need all of these unnecessary products.